It's just the old school Shad Rap. Now, I really like the crawdad pattern like this. This is probably my favorite color in early spring. Another big point, guys, is make sure you weight it. See, I've got that weight on the belly there. You want this thing, and you want all of these crankbaits that I'm talking about to be able to suspend. You don't want them floating up, because when you reel that bait down like that and you pause it, you don't want it floating up because you're going to lose your depth. You want this thing staying neutral or even sinking slowly to get that depth out of it. But the Shad Rap is a really, really good bait early in the spring. It has been forever. It's a quiet, subtle bait, doesn't make any noise, got a small shad profile. And this is the bait that I like to throw on rocky banks in the springtime of the year. And pretty much most all these are rocky bank type areas or over grass beds. If you guys have submerged hydrilla or milfoil, a Shad Rap over the top of that during the pre-spawn works really, really good. There's a window of water clarity too. For the Shad Rap to work good, I like to have sort of any water visibility between like 2 to 3 foot is like perfect for it. Most of the time I do throw a Shad Rap on a spinning rod with 8-pound test, Seaguar and Vizex line, and I'm trying to target sort of that 3 to 6 foot zone with it, depending upon the size of the bait that I'm using. And parallel and rocky banks, riprap banks, channel banks, bluff banks, cranking over grass beds, really, really good bait. And the Shad Rap, another thing, it's a really good bait under tough fishing conditions. So if you got a day like today where it's a bright bluebird sky, not much wind, fish are pretty finicky, a Shad Rap is a really good early season bait for that. Okay, the next one is another Rapala bait, guys. This is the DT6. I've talked about this a little bit. This little DT6 has been around forever. And guys, it is a great early spring bait. Again, it's a rock bait. I like to crank, it doesn't matter if it's big rock or bluffs or gravel banks or clay, but it's just a really good all-around crankbait for cold water on rocky banks. And again, I will put the suspend strip on it. I don't have it here because this is a wood bait and it floats up pretty quick. But I fish this again on a spinning rod, the 8-pound test Seaguar and Vizex as well. And the DT6 works a little bit better if the conditions are a little bit nastier. Say for example, it's a cloudy day out, you got wind. When those fish are a little bit more aggressive with those conditions, I like the DT6. It's a little bit larger bait, a little bit larger profile, but it's even though it's a larger profile, it's still a pretty compact bait. It's quiet again, there's no rattles in it. It's got a tight wobble, just like the Shad Rap. Really, really good bait early in the spring. Okay, and the last one, guys, is the Megabass Sonic Side. This is a flat-sided crankbait. Looks just like a shad. Again, it's got a pretty tight wobble on it. And the thing that is really good about the Sonic Side is in cold water, they like a flat-sided crankbait a lot of times.